Can anybody hear me? My first words were mama and dada. Not that original, but a development from goo goo gaga, voila. 2 more words in my repertoire. But it was all just blah blah. See, this little baba called out to no one, so nobody heard it. Mama gave birth while dada swerved it, and I must have hit a nerve trying to go it alone. I'm in a foster home, 6 months old. Can anybody hear me? Then sooner or later I was picked from the litter. A real mum and dad, now things'll get better. Letters and numbers I'm soon to learn, but have you heard my first words? Can anybody hear me? My first words to the classroom on the first day were, I'm Colin, and when I grow up, I want to be a wrestler. And everyone laughed, even the teacher. 11 years young with a sense of adventure, but back then, sure, anything was possible. Life had barely begun. Now when I grow up, I'd like to be a writer. But if not, I'd still like to be a wrestler. Colin, champion of the world. But have you heard my first words? Can anybody hear me? My first words in my first poem are so cliched and rank, I don't think they'll ever be heard. I'm not scared, it's just teenage despair and angst are better not being shared. Yet now I can check at those days which were the best of times and the best time to make literary connections. Orwell, Wilde, Steinbeck, Williams. I saw my reflection in Holden Caulfield, had affection for Boo Radley and fell madly in love with the art of poetry. With a pen and paper I made a surrogate saviour and built a brand new world. It's a sin to kill a mockingbird. So have you heard my first words? Can anybody hear me? My first words to the new kid on the sports field were, who the hell do you think you are? But that's just the way of the playground battlefield. You gotta be tough, or at least act tough, or you won't get far. 2 decades later, that new kid is a superstar. A one-man army I call into war when there's things I can't handle. And to give an example, they say we will make 7 true friends a lifetime. Well, I have each position filled. And each one has values to still, like loyalty and honesty. But as much as they care, I am aware they won't resist any chance to take the mick. Like when I first said, I write poetry. But I took the stick on the chin, knowing I would win them over. I worked hard on me, I had to succeed. 'Cause poetry is a poet's need, and poets have a voice but no choice other than to write and read. So you can decide whether you like or dislike me. But when I leave this screen, at least be polite and applaud me. For I'll still read and write whether it's wrong or right, and keep on the light for a lover who loves me and thinks these poems of mine are more than just blah blah, and sees a space between the lines where I still say mama and dada. This has been my first words in a confession. All that's left is to repeat the question, can anybody hear me?